video on the Integra first, but I realized I can't do a video on the Integra before the hatchback because the hatchback is kind of what led me into the way that I did the Integra. So go back to the fall of 2022, and I had picked up a 2000 Civic. I think it was a DX hatchback. We'll say it's a DX. Y7 automatic. It was like 190,000 miles on it. It was a high mileage Civic. Mostly had no rust. It came from Michigan. I bought it in Columbus. It just had a big dent in the rear. I ended up pulling that dent out a little bit. Pulled it out enough to put a tail light in it so we could drive it. Drove it for a few months. And my buddy had a black EK hatch that he had put a Z6 in, burnt the fuel system out, and he had it sitting in a scrap pile, which is the current Civic. Now, originally, we were going to take that Civic, we were going to cut the back half of it off, like at the hatch. We were going to cut that back half off and fix the silver hatch. At that point, I was like, if I'm going to be cutting the back half of a Civic off, for the hatchback, I'm going to just make a four-door hatchback. So, and at that rate, I can't weld. I was kind of stuck. So, what ended up happening, instead of the black car being the donor for the silver car ended up being the donor for the black car. We took everything from the 2000, dash harness, the engine harness, the body harness, the taillight harness, but we raised the engine half to give it oil pan clearance, so that would never be an issue for her. Again, this is her car, not mine. I don't ever drive this car. I had also had to swap the pedal boxes over from the automatic to the manual because the manual's pedal boxes were gone. This car was literally a bare shell. It had a dashboard and two seats. And I swapped the dashboards around, the entire HVAC system. So it's got the electronic HVAC from the 99 2000 over the manual and the 96 and 98. ECU, everything. Dropped the whole front end off of it, rolled it underneath the black Civic, and scrapped the silver one. I didn't really scrap it. We sold it to somebody for 150 bucks. Just to get it out of my face. So pretty much we bought the black one for 300, sold the silver one for 150. So we pretty much had 150 bucks in this now semi-operational black hatch. The only thing we had to do, we had to put upper ball joints on it at the time. And the reason I dropped the whole subframe and everything and rolled it underneath that car, underneath the black car, instead of just pulling the engine and dropping the engine in. Subframes was rotted on the black car. It's a rusty car. But I mean, it was sitting in a scrap pile, so that tells you a lot. I got 150 bucks in this car, spent another 20 bucks on some ball joints. Took me about a week to get the car done. It didn't take me very long at all. A couple buddies helped me, but for the most part, it was me by myself out of the garage, locked up for a week. But got it running and driving, drove it like that for a few months. Then we ended up painting it baby blue because still ladies hatch. But now, as for the chassis is a 98. It's a manual chassis. It's part of the reason all the electronics were swapped over because, manuals don't have quite as many plugs in the inside for like the shifter, engine bay for the transmission. So obviously I had to swap engine harness, dash harness, and ECU just to make that function. So we got all that swapped over, got it running right, painted it, and then January 2024, the car got sideswiped, busted up the steering rack, damaged the subframe. So I had to replace the subframe and steering rack on it. My buddy had an old EG that he scrapped a long time ago. So I got an EG subframe and a steering rack for it. So it has an EG subframe. It's on your Naka coilovers. Some junk JNC wheels. There's no camber kit. I mean, it's got a front camber kit, but there's no camber kits on it. Yeah, it's a turd, but that chassis swap is what gave me essentially the knowledge and the idea to do the tag how I did the tag. So next video you'll see kind of clicked in my head to do so, or not, but whatever. But next video will definitely be on tag. This video is just a hatch, kind of like a quick rundown because there's really nothing to talk about, just stock car. But yeah, the next video I'll definitely it's going to be on the Integra. It'll definitely be more in depth than this is. There's more to talk about on it. But yeah, until next video, later.